Peace. How's it going? Patrick, Conservative Rap. And in this video, let's talk a little bit about the geopolitical occurrences happening throughout the world. I'm going to get straight into it. Let me know your thoughts after this. We're looking at a new reality, the rise of nations returning to nationhood rather than this geo-homogenous, we are the world, non-nationalistic globalism agenda that we've become accustomed to. So I'm going to go straight over to Trump on Truth. Let's take a quick read. And here he is. I had a truly great meeting with President Xi of China. There's an enormous respect between our two countries, and that'll only be enhanced with what just took place. We agreed on many things, with others even of high importance being very close to being resolved. I was extremely honored by the fact that President Xi authorized China to begin the purchase of massive amounts of soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products. Our farmers will be very happy. In fact, as I said once during my first administration, farmers should immediately go out and buy more land and larger tractors. I'd like to thank President Xi for this. Additionally, China has agreed to continue the flow of rare earth, critical minerals, magnets, etc. openly and freely. Very significantly, China has strongly stated that they will work diligently with us to help stop the flow of fentanyl into our country. They will help us end the fentanyl crisis. China also agreed that they will begin the process of purchasing American energy. In fact, a very large-scale transaction may take place concerning the purchase of oil and gas from the great state of Alaska. Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, and our respective energy teams will be meeting to see if such an energy deal can be worked out. The agreements we reached today will deliver prosperity and security to millions of Americans. After this historic trip to Asia, I'm now heading back to Washington, D.C., and I want to thank the great countries of Malaysia, Japan, South Korea for being so gracious, generous, and hospitable. Also Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, who were at the dinner last night hosted by His Excellency Lee Jae-myung. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being brought into our country, and because of them, our nation is strong, respected, and admitted again, the best is yet to come. God bless America. So this is what happens when you have a America First agenda in charge. They understand the leverage that America brings as we're one of the larger consumer states, and just love to see it. Let's move on. Before we even go on to another Truth Post, let's take a quick look. President Trump signs big deal with China. Xi Jinping, who calls him the peace president. So Xi Jinping is calling him the president of peace. President Trump just arrived for his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea. Here we go. 47 is about to represent.
I hope they realize that.
America.
Okay, you're behind closed doors with Democrats. You're in what they call a cloakroom. I assume you have some conversations with some of them. Are they as adamant and ardent as their public posture? Do you see any of them understanding how profound this impact is going to be, especially starting Saturday?
Well, I think they're beginning.
Amazing to see. President shook Xi hands Friday morning. He had a stroke recently. There's still some concerns with his health. Good to see you.
Great pleasure to see you again. Good to see you again. Me too. And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good. We know each other well.
President, do you plan to sign a trade deal today?
Could be. I think we'll have a great understanding. We have a great relationship. We've always had a great relationship.
Will you certify U.S. soybeans again? Will you discuss Taiwan?
Which way? Thank you very much.
You can clearly see who's in control. President Trump says U.S. and China are going to have a great relationship for a long period of time. Bilateral meeting. I won't play. This is a full recap of all of the sort of major clips. Xi Jinping says he's glad to finally be meeting with Trump. Trump on the outcomes. U.S. and China will collaborate on Ukraine. China will visit China in April. Xi will visit the U.S. soon. China will be buying soybeans and resume rare earth exports. U.S. and China will continue to further discuss NVIDIA chip restrictions. Overall, China tariffs cut from 47% to 47% from 57%. Fentanyl tariffs slashed to 10%. Now China will work to stop the spread of fentanyl. Let's effing go. And this covers the details. Moving on, and then we'll go back to, let's go to Zero Hedge quickly. Kremlin walks back nuclear test claims as Trump orders U.S. atomic weapons testing. Earlier, we reported that the United States will begin conducting nuclear weapons tests again after decades of rejecting the practice, according to a fresh announcement by President Donald J. Trump Wednesday, as he was on the tail end of his Asia tour. He seemed to be referencing Russia when he wrote on Truth Social, "Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis," the president said, and that process will begin immediately. This is peace through strength. Another adversary of note who has done high-profile nuclear tests in the modern era is North Korea, but clearly Trump ordered the restart of nuclear weapons in response to Russia's recent tests, a nuclear cruise missile as well as nuclear-powered underwater drones. It was on Sunday that Russian President Vladimir Putin touted a successful test of his military's new invincible nuclear-capable cruise missile, the Burevestnik. Trump quickly called it not appropriate and reminded Moscow that a U.S. nuclear submarine is right off their shores. The new Russian missile completed a multi-hour flight that covered 15,000 kilometers and is touted to be able to evade any modern anti-air defense system. While Russia first disclosed the test on Sunday, it actually took place on October 21st, according to the Kremlin announcements. But Trump's warnings didn't deter the Kremlin, as it was only Tuesday that Russian military conducted a second nuclear-related test, this time a long-development nuclear-capable state-of-the-art underwater drone named the Poseidon. For the first time, we succeeded in not only launching the submarine from its booster engine, but also in starting its nuclear power unit, which provided energy to the vehicle for a certain period of time. This is a tremendous success, Putin described Wednesday of that test. All this means Russia conducted 2 significant nuclear weapons tests in under a week. However, nowhere in Russian statements was it suggested that there was a detonation of atomic warheads. But Trump ordered his Pentagon chief, Pete Hegseth, to resume nuclear explosive tests, a mark since first 1992, the last test and the end of the Cold War, and has clearly alarmed and rattled the Kremlin. Global nuclear warhead inventories in 2025, with Russia and the United States leading the pack. If Trump in some ways refers to the Burevestnik test as a clear nuclear test carried out by another country, that is in no way accurate. All nations continue to advance the development of their defense system, but this does not constitute a nuclear test, Putin spokesperson emphasized. According to more Russian backtracking, needless to say, if each side began detonating nuclear warheads, it would be a highly escalatory and dangerous step not seen since the height of the Cold War. Already, plenty of nuclear rhetoric has already accompanied the proxy war in Ukraine, but so far this has just been confined to words, an occasional telegram, and Truth Social threats. Right? So this continues to go into depth. But let's hear what Trump had to say about this at the time. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. Russia is second and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of the other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And again, you fight fire with fire. We currently have finally a president who understands how to deal with power on a global basis and how to deal with bullies on the global stage. What do you think? Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, and check me out at ConservativeRap.com for more. Thanks and take care.